Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Geeks Around. My name is DeAno Jackson, your executive producer, and we are here talking, of course, about Game of Thrones episode 302. This is a fun episode. Can't wait to get started with this one. Kind of have a light panel today, but that's all good. We're going to keep on running. Joining me, of course, is our host, Matt Moore. What's going on, Matt?
Not much, just hanging out, having fun.
Oh, that's what's up. And joining us, Aisha Franklin. Welcome back. Missed you last week.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries. It's good having you back. So let's just go ahead and jump into this thing. As opposed to the series premiere, which was a little bit light on action, some things happened here. It's like, I mean, we're slowly starting to move things forward as we're understanding how things are playing out now in season 3.
There no boobs, but 2 sword fights.
Oh yeah, you're right. There weren't any boobs. Oh, they are slipping. What happened?
I guess I didn't miss much.
But 2 sword fights, as quick as they were.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's like, hey, it was something, and the last sword fight was particularly interesting. So let's see. It's like, I mean, a lot happened here. Where do we want to start off? King's Landing?
Sure. Well,
right,
actually, to get into King's Landing, we kind of have to go to the topic of the day, of which we all want to talk about, I think. Because King's Landing, you can't really talk about King's Landing without talking about the conversation between Sansa and Lady Marjorie.
Exactly. I figured we start off right there. It's like, yeah, with these discussions, we're going to have to do it by location, because doing it by character is too complicated. So yeah, Lady Sansa had a little bit of a surprise as Lady Tywell decided that she wanted to talk to Sansa, and that was a very interesting conversation. See, that's why I like old people. Old people cut through the bullshit. They don't give a fuck anymore. They're just going to say whatever the fuck they want, and that's just kind of the way it is. It didn't take me very long to start to really like Marjorie's grandmother.
I think of Sansa the same way that Kim thinks of Andrea, and this was an exception. Is Lady Tyrell? I'm going to call her Granny Tyrell.
Let's go with it, Granny Tyrell. Let's do that.
Granny Tyrell got Sansa talking in a way that Sansa would never talk with anyone, and saying things that she's always thought but would never have admitted to anyone else. Like her own family. If her own family had approached her and asked her those same questions, she would have been like, nope, Joffrey's a great guy. I love Joffrey. He's my king.
Woo, Joffrey. That's actually an interesting link between Sansa, of course, in this show, and Andrea in The Walking Dead. It's like in this one, I think it's actually even more appropriate because, oh man, the litany of mistakes that she's made. I was actually, I honestly, at first, I didn't think that Sansa would actually tell the truth, that she was so wrapped up in this whole, have to be prim and proper and all that, and not to speak badly about King Joffrey, his royal douchiness.
But can you blame her? She has no further allies.
I can't blame her, but even back when she did have allies, she was still doing that, because at that point it was, oh, I'm so in love with Joffrey. Me and Joffrey, I'm going to go be a queen and a princess, and I'm going to be happy forever. Of course, that was before she realized that he's a sadistic little bastard.
That was before he chopped off her father's head in front of her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think something like that does change one's opinion on someone.
Yeah, it might change your viewpoint.
Maybe a little bit. So, but Sansa actually did end up telling the truth, and then how Marjorie used that to manipulate Joffrey was awesome.
See, this is goes back to what I was saying last week, as I was asking whether we think Marjorie is acting, and I think she kind of knew that he was a monster beforehand. She just needed verification from Sansa. I think she was acting the whole time.
Undoubtedly, she's very, very clever. Aisha, I know you had a lot to say about Lady Marjorie, so what's up?
Well, I find it funny how she's using her role as the sister as a very manipulative yet powerful role, especially due to the fact of how her brother Loris is, how he's portrayed to be the pro-male, and actually in secret he's the one that's actually asking his sister for help, and she's his backup. So it's like they're balanced.
That's the Night of Flowers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. And meeting Granny Tyrell basically just proved my point. She basically just gave a trilogy of how the men in that family are. So it actually makes sense how Lady Marjorie turned out the way she did.
That's a good point.
It does seem that Granny Tyrell...
Go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
No, you go ahead.
I should go.
I was going to say, it does seem that Granny Tyrell is very picky on who she trusts in her own family, and Lady Marjorie seems to be the person she trusts.
Well, she seems to be the one that has a brain, a very good brain amongst all of them.
And before the scene of Granny Tyrell and Lady Marjorie talking to Sansa, I seriously thought that Lady Marjorie could be the character to basically round Joffrey out, but now it's just proven that she's basically has her own plan on how she wants to react to him, so that's good.
I have not read the books, so please do not take this as any sort of spoiler. This is the earliest wild speculation we're going to get in this particular episode. I have an idea that because she said that she doesn't want to be a queen, she wants to be the queen, and she was very specific about that. And I'm thinking that after she marries Joffrey, she might have in her mind of taking Joffrey out.
Ooh, now wouldn't that be interesting? That could be it, because she seems to be definitely trying to get in that position of power. We know she has no emotional attachment to Joffrey whatsoever. That seems fairly apparent.
How about she uses Joffrey to take the Mother Queen out first, and then uses that to discredit Joffrey in the people's eye, because they already don't like him, and that's how she gets rid of Joffrey.
Because if she discredits him while she's married to him, it will also discredit her.
Not if she plays it right. She'd have to be very careful about how she did it, but it's a possibility.
Yeah.
Although it's like, I mean, speaking of Cersei, it's like I as much as I don't like Joffrey, it's like it cracked me up laughing when in Joffrey's conversation with his mother in this episode. It's like, I mean, it's like he was putting her in her place.
Yes,
big time.
About time.
I think that he was trying to put her in her place, and she just ignored him.
Oh, she definitely just ignored him. There's no doubt about that. But it was just cool just seeing Joffrey kind of treat Cersei the way that I've always kind of wanted to see her be treated. So it's like I just personally got a kick out of that. And for once, it's like, I mean, wow, it's like we actually had an episode where for once Joffrey wasn't a complete and total douchebag.
That's actually been 2 episodes in a row.
No, the last one he was a little bit douchey, whining like a little bitch in his carriage.
Yeah, but he dropped that pretty quick once he found out who it was.
True. Yeah, that he did. But in this one, it's like, I mean, before there was at least traces of douchiness. In this one, there didn't really seem to be any traces of douchiness. I mean, not saying that it's like all of a sudden he's cured and he's still a sadistic prick. But in this one, it's like, hey, okay, not bad there. Of course, I think that moreover shows how good Marjorie is at manipulating him than anything else.
He did show off how big and fancy his crossbow was.
Oh, of course. And Marjorie goaded him right into it.
Yes, she did.
I mean, it's like
that's not an allegory for anything.
Exactly. Well, it's like you guys saw. It's like, I mean, how first he wanted to know a lot about her previous marriage to Renly, and how Marjorie did a pretty good job of sidestepping that and quickly moving on to something else. It's like she did a total subject change on him, and I don't think Joffrey noticed.
But she gave him what he wanted. He wanted to make sure that she wasn't defiled and that he was pure for her. So she turned that into her favor, actually.
Yeah, she did. She very quickly turned that around.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think it should be interesting seeing where that goes, because, like, I mean, Marjorie clearly has bigger plans. Meanwhile, also in King's Landing, we have, boy, Tyrion.
Boy Tyrion, with his former whore. This was my problem with this, was that Shay was a whore, but Shay is no longer a whore. Shay is now a handmaiden. So I don't see why Tyrion is so worried for her being killed by his father.
Because his father's a douche who hates Tyrion pretty much more than any other character in the show.
Does not want him to have any happiness at all.
The fact that Shay used to be a whore is more than the excuse that Tywin needs in order to kill her if he discovers that she's there. He would do it just to make sure that Tyrion can't be happy. He's that much of a prick.
I don't know that he's that in touch with the people, though. I don't think he'd find out easily that she used to be a whore.
You're right about that. Tywin wouldn't find out very easily. Cersei would.
I could see it. Yeah, because she'd use that spy master, whose name, Lord Varsher?
Yeah, Varys. Lord Ballless.
Yeah.
It's true. But yeah, she'd find out, and she'd make very sure her father was aware of that. Because, certainly she has no love lost for her younger brother.
Yeah. And anything...
I just hope Shay stays around, because so far she's... Okay.
So far she's what?
I was going to say Shay's Sansa's great protector right now. She's right to not trust... What's his name?
Littlefinger.
Peter? Yes, Littlefinger. She's right to not trust him.
Yeah. I think that if anything we've learned over the course of the show is that trusting Littlefinger is a bad fucking idea. If you don't believe me, ask Eddard Stark. Oh wait, you can't.
Yeah. I was gonna say if you feel like you should trust Littlefinger, ask Littlefinger, because Littlefinger will tell you not to trust Littlefinger, and he did. He told Eddard Stark, "Don't trust me."
Yeah.
I will stab you in the back. And what did he do? He stabbed him in the back.
Yeah. What a shock! Didn't see that one coming. Total swerve out of left field. Yeah, so she needs very, very much to not trust Littlefinger, but at the same time, she also needs to expedite getting out of King's Landing. Because at this point, with her no longer being Joffrey's interest in that area, all bets are off.
Yeah. Do you think maybe the tell me if I'm getting the right ones. Tyrells? Wait. I'm looking at it. Yes, the Tyrells might protect Sansa?
I think there's a strong possibility. Granny Tyrell seemed really attached to her.
I think that's their hidden card.
What, to help out Sansa?
Yes, and to use her for Robb Stark if he eventually gets there.
No, that's a possibility.
To show that they... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just agreeing. It's like, that's a very strong possibility.
Because right now, they're no threat to the Lannisters, but they have no leverage to go with the Starks, just in case the Stark gets there, except for Sansa's trust. So, I believe that's a big possibility.
Yeah.
There needs to be a new meme that says, "Where's Arya?"
Thank you. I was so happy she popped up in this episode. I was so happy.
Well, I was just saying because no one in this freaking family, knows where Arya is, and some of them think they know where Arya is, and they just don't.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of her, it's like, hey, it was cool in this episode catching up with her, Gendry and Hot Pie, seeing what they're up to. Unfortunately, they seem to got themselves in a little bit of trouble right away. Just out and about, and all of a sudden, oh gee, here's Thoros. Fantastic.
Which brings us to our first sword fight.
Mm-hmm.
That ended rather quickly.
If you can call it that.
It's because Arya didn't have needle. Arya had this big old broadsword, and it's entirely too big for her.
Yeah, completely.
Or I guess it would be a long sword, which is shorter than a broadsword, but still.
Yeah.
It's entirely too large for her, and so she got it knocked out of her hand pretty quickly. Needle, she would have had that thing out of the way, no problem.
Oh yeah, with Needle, she'd have been able to hang. Where is Needle now? It's like, I forget. Is it still
I
at
was
this?
about to ask that.
I guess, would it still be in Harrenhal?
I don't know.
Who knows at this point? It's like it's hard enough keeping people's names straight, let alone locations where they've all been.
So I have a question. The blacksmith's son, he doesn't know that she's a Stark, does he?
I don't think so. I don't think any of her companions right now she has knows who she is. Well, they do now since the Hound kind of put it out there, but...
Right. Do you think they'll break up their friendship now? Or their allegiance to each other?
I wouldn't think so. Why would you think it would?
Well, I don't know. I still don't understand how the blacksmith feels about her father yet. So, I don't know.
Well, it's like, I look at it like this.
All I know is that
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Babe, go ahead. Host, do what I say.
All I know is that knowing that she's a Stark means that they're actually in more danger traveling with her. So now I don't see why they would stay with her now.
Well, that's a debatable point. It's like, more danger on one sense, but it's like, hell, she's the only reason that they got out of there in the first place.
Yeah, my thought on that particular thing is that while they're in more danger because of the fact that it draws more attention to them, they're in less danger because they're less likely to be killed out of hand. In other words, like a set of random bandits comes across them and goes, "Oh, these are 3 kids. Let's kill them because they know where we are." Or, "Hey, these are 3 kids, and this one's really freaking worth a lot of money, and maybe these 2 that are traveling with her is 2. Let's find out who they are." All of a sudden, they're alive.
Okay.
So, sure, yeah, it draws undue attention to them, but at the same time, it might save them.
Yeah, but for right now, things are kind of up in the air. It's like, with the Hound up there now, and now, since the Hound just had to go ahead and run his mouth, now Thoros and all of this little crew, the Brotherhood Without Banners, knows who they have with them now. What do you suppose you're going to do with that information?
I believe they're going to try to use her to get in Tyrion's father's good graces. Because remember, Tyrion's father still liked her, not knowing who she was.
I actually have a weird theory on this that I know everyone is going to disagree with. I think they're going to let her go anyway.
I doubt it.
What's your rationale behind it?
Because they gave their word, and they seem to actually value that.
That's a legitimate point. I can see that happening. But what do you think the Hound's going to have to say about that? The Hound has no love for any of the Starks.
Well, the Hound seemed to be under imprisoned or something by him. He has no such guarantee.
Yeah, this is true. It's like I'm
So
wondering how he ended up.
Sorry, I was just going to say, even if they do let the Hound go, they'll give Arya and her friends a little time to get ahead, I would think. Now, I could be completely wrong on this, and you know what? Chances are I am wrong on this. But I really think that it would be noble, and it would be a good story for them to let her go anyway.
I think so.
Even if they let her go. Okay.
Yeah, what's up?
Even if they let her go, she's still... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I keep forgetting. It's like out there you have a slight delay. Go ahead, Aisha.
Even if they let her go, she's still in danger because now the Hound is going to be tracking her and looking for her to use her as a trump card. So, hopefully they kill the Hound, but I doubt it. But if not, now that they actually have someone tracking them now in the series.
All right, so it's like, what do y'all suppose? Like, I mean, let's say that scenario does play out, and they let Arya and her couple of friends go. From there, it's like, I mean, where do they go?
Good question.
Well, this is my forgetfulness. Where were they going in the first place?
I think they were trying to get to River Run, which at this point, if that did happen, is like, and that's exactly why I brought up, because where they were trying to get to is River Run, which is where Caitlin is originally from, and that's actually where Caitlin and Rob are going right now for the funeral of her father.
That's the place where the 14 or 12-year-old kid is sucking on his mom's boobie?
Like I said, it's hard enough to deal with names, let alone places.
Is it the place where Tyrion got put in the prison that's
yes.
I don't think that's River Run. I think that was something else. It's like, I'm sure somebody in the comments will correct us if we're wrong, but I don't think that's River Run. I'm not even sure if we've really... I think we've glimpsed at River Run before on this show, but really haven't seen it. It's like, I forget what that place in the sky was called up on the mountain. Yeah, it's like, but I know what y'all are talking about, where Tyrion was in that sky cell and all that, but no, that's not River Run. I don't think so, anyway. But that's where they're headed, along with, of course, Robb Stark and his mother, who, since they got that letter telling them that, that Hoster Tully, Robb's grandfather is dead, that's where they're off to. And that's not really going over well with everyone, because Lord Karstark, I think his name is, voiced. He didn't seem happy that they were doing this big distraction and going out to the funeral and whatnot. He was talking to Robb Stark about that. But nonetheless, that's the situation that we're in. It's like, I mean, so now he's updated. He knows that Winterfell is gone, for all intents and purposes. He knows his younger brothers are missing. It's like no one has any idea whether or not they're alive or dead. Although he seems to believe that they escaped, which is good, since that's what happened. And meanwhile, those brothers are headed up to the wall to see Jon Snow, who isn't there. So it gets more and more complicated, does it not?
It does. I was just looking for a "Where's Arya" meme. It doesn't exist. Damn it.
All right. Now, speaking of things going on with Bran Stark, this is getting pretty interesting.
Oh yeah. I hope you remember those kids' names, because I don't remember the brother and sister's names offhand.
His name is Jojen Reed. Jojen and his sister
Mira.
Mira, thank you. Jojen and Mira. And Jojen also, has these same dreams like Bran does, only Jojen seems to be able to control his powers a little bit more. And I think that's kind of cool. It's like, I mean, because Bran has just been ever since he was pushed from that window by the Kingslayer, has just kind of been a burden on everyone else, not being able to do much of anything. But if he's developing powers of a future of these visions that he's having, plus if he really augments his ability to see out of the eyes of animals, that's going to be very, very interesting.
I really hope Osha does not ruin it for him, because she's becoming paranoid now.
Well, yeah, because now Osha's not all of a sudden not the most important person there. I don't think she likes that very much.
True. This is true.
Now, I have a question. These wargs, do they just gain their power spontaneously out of nowhere, or is it supposed to be genetic? Does anyone know?
Well, I think the process involves getting bit by a radioactive spider, but I don't quote me.
That's got to be it, yeah. I'm just wondering where the heck they got this ability, where they can pretty much, where they can think, because apparently it's all the Stark children, as I'm reading, because I'm reading right now, that them being able to control their direwolves is part of this ability that they have. And Bran's the only one who's taking it farther than just their direwolves.
Interesting. Okay.
And apparently, it comes from the father's side because Jon Snow is also a. They call it skin changing in the books. But it's,
well, let's not get too much into future events from the books. We don't want to get too far in spoilers for those that haven't read it.
No, it's just different words for the same thing.
Okay.
But yeah, apparently Bran's the only one who is taking advantage and taking it beyond just controlling his direwolf.
So therefore, them introducing that character amongst the Wilderlings was basically a foreshadow of Jon Snow.
Yeah, quite possibly. So, I mean, before we get on to Jon Snow, because I do want to talk about that, there's also another scene that I want to talk about that has something to do with Jon Snow. Mainly the scene where Catelyn was talking to Queen Talisa, Robb Stark's new wife, about an earlier thing that happened with Jon Snow, when she was very upset about her husband bringing this new baby home and praying for it to die, and then it started to die, and Caitlyn's like, well, shit, that's fucked up. Okay, all right, let it live, and I promise, it's like that, I'll love it like a mother should, and we'll see about getting him a real name, not calling him Snow anymore, and calling him Stark, and it's like, yay, baby saved, and yeah, I'm not going to do any of the other shit.
Yeah, it seems she was creating something that looked kind of like a Game of Thrones version of a Dreamcatcher, and when she was telling the story, and it's kind of interesting to hear that she made one of these for Jon Snow. It shows that maybe she didn't care about him so much, but she wanted to. She really wanted to care for that kid, but she just couldn't.
Yeah, maybe. Aisha, what do you think?
But the fact that they didn't make him a Stark has actually kept him hidden for a while, so that actually worked out in his favor.
I think everybody knows who Jon Snow is. I think everybody knows he's the bastard child of Eddard Stark.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, there's no real way around that. It's like, I mean, the entire last name Snow, that's what bastard children, that's the last name they get in the North.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Any bastard child is like whatever Snow. So having that last name Snow is like, yeah, well, we know you're a bastard.
Darn it. Okay.
But I don't know. I think it was an interesting story, but I don't know how much it actually lent to the episode itself. I think it lent more to the overall narrative than anything.
Yeah. Agreed, but it's like, I mean, it just was a interesting tidbit to see.
I think it was. Sorry, go on.
No, I was about to change subjects. Go on.
Oh, I was going to say that it's interesting how she talked her way out of manacles.
Yeah. Appeal to pity.
she's really not a prisoner anymore, even though she technically is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, which I think is rather cool.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, Rob's still pretty upset about that whole freeing the Kingslayer thing.
Well,
just that minor little thing.
Well, if everything goes how it looks, he's going to get the Kingslayer back pretty soon.
Yeah, it looks like. Oh man, it's like yeah. Since we're on that subject, let's go ahead and go there. It's like the current odd couple of this show.
The comedic
Brienne
couple.
and Jamie. Yeah. This is funny, just watching them together. As like, because Jamie is just taunting her the entire time, and Brienne, quite clearly, at any given point, really wouldn't mind killing him.
Yeah.
If it didn't go directly against what Catelyn Stark wanted her to do, that's probably what she would be doing. Just on general principle of, this guy's irritating as hell. He won't shut up. I'm going to shut him up now.
I thought it was. I thought it was rather interesting how he got her to. Well, he pretty much Sherlocked out of her the fact that she had a crush on her former master, who, of course, was gay.
Yep. Very gay.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes her a rather large hag.
Yeah. And he just kept needling her over and over and over again. That was kind of messed up. But then it's like, when they were crossing the bridge, though, it's like, okay, now Jamie thinks he can get the upper hand on Brienne, and that plan didn't exactly entirely work out very well for the Kingslayer.
Or for her, for that matter.
Yeah, or for her, but it's like, hey, it's like, I'm just happy she kicked his ass. Now, granted, he was bound, but the way he was fighting with the sword, it really doesn't even matter because he was using the two-handed style.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, I mean, if anyone says like, oh yeah, well that's the only reason she won, no, she won because at least with him using that style, she's the better fighter.
Yeah.
And that was a fun fight to watch, as brief as it was.
It was better than Arya, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now he's going back to Rob.
Yeah, thanks to the farmer that Jamie warned her about earlier.
Yeah.
And she was like, no. I was like, we're not going to do that. And then it's like, yep. Mm-hmm. Jamie was right. And you saw that look Jamie gave her, too.
Yeah.
As soon as they pulled that farmer up, Jamie looked back at Brienne and was like, see, I told your ass. God damn it.
Yeah, but I don't see her going around killing innocent people.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, that of course wasn't going to happen. I mean, regardless, I mean, the dude could have said right then and there, yep, I'm going to go tell the first person I see, and she still probably wouldn't have killed him. Might have knocked him out or something at that point, but wouldn't have straight up killed him, which Jamie, of course, would have had no problem doing. I mean,
yeah, but she probably would have
no
crossed
problem
the
pushing
river
9-year-olds
in the
to
water.
death.
She probably would have crossed the river in the water, though.
Yeah.
And then she would have gotten away.
It's like, no, undoubtedly.
But that was rather intelligent of Jamie to just plop down in the middle of the bridge.
Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't. It's like, I mean, it was the beginning of a good plan, except it didn't go nearly the way that I'm thinking he guessed that it would. I mean, because right now it's like his situation's actually worse off because now it's like they're on their way back to Robb Stark.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, that should be interesting because even Robb Stark isn't where Robb Stark was anymore.
Yeah, but He's always going to underestimate her no matter what. She's always proven herself, and yet he's always going to underestimate her.
You think so, or do you think some of their time together might lead him to start respecting her skills a little bit?
Even if he's respecting her, he's never going to admit it.
I do not think he is. I think that he won't underestimate her so much anymore, but I don't think he'll ever respect anyone except possibly his sister / fuck buddy.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good point.
I don't think he respects. He might respect his own father, but that's it.
Even that I think would be stretching it a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see, where haven't we hit yet? We got, okay. Quick stop beyond the wall. It's like, since we were talking about Jon Snow earlier, it's like, let's go back a little bit more into that. Now, we can see that the King Beyond the Wall, Mance Rayder, still doesn't seem to... Mance Rayder. Can't talk for whatever reason. Anyway, Mance still doesn't entirely trust Jon Snow, which... he shouldn't, because, well, Jon Snow's not really on the side, at least not yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I mean, the dude's not stupid. How do you guys see that going? It's like, what do you guys think that Jon can do in order to earn his trust?
I have no idea. Jon has... It's hard to gain someone's trust when you are known for flipping sides.
That's a good point. But then again, I mean, Mance was once a brother of the Night's Watch as well.
That's true. I don't know, but maybe if he shows... I don't know. We saw our first warg. Our first true warg. Maybe if he shows that off a little bit, his control of his direwolves, that'll show him as a true man of the North, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I can agree with that. What do you think, Aisha?
It's hard to say. The fact that Jon Snow has honor, he won't forget about his past allegiance to the guys on the wall, and yet I feel like he belongs there better because they have a place for everyone, and he doesn't have a place anywhere.
Yeah, and Egret's there, so there's that.
Yeah,
which is a pretty, as we mentioned last week, that's a pretty strong motivator.
My thought is I think he's already. I don't think he should have, but I think he's already dismissed the Knights or the Black Watch. I don't think he'll ever go back to that.
Really? Ooh, interesting. So you see him staying with the Wildlings or the others, or whatever the hell they're calling themselves, and not going back to the Night's Watch?
The reason I'm saying that, I know I'm probably totally off base on this, but the reason I'm saying this is because the Night's Watch completely allowed for that guy to sacrifice his children.
Mm-hmm.
And have his children meet Eden or whatever the hell was going on with the children. I forget now. The Night's Watch, or at least the people up high in the Night's Watch, knew this was happening and they didn't care. Or they didn't care enough to do anything about it.
Yeah, I don't think that sat very well with Jon either.
Yeah, not at all. And I think if he does return to the Night's Watch, it will the Black Watch. I mean, it will be under his own rules. Basically, this doesn't happen anymore.
Maybe. I suppose we'll see. It's like, I mean, speaking of the Night's Watch, we see them still struggling at this point, trying to get back to the wall. Samwell isn't really doing so well at this one. And and he was goaded pretty much the entire time by what's his name, Rast?
I don't know his name.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call him the asshole.
Yeah,
which is Joffrey, which is the douchebag.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so the asshole of the Night's Watch. But it's like, I think the Lord Commander actually had a good way of sorting out this problem. It's like, even though Rast quite clearly wanted to leave Samuel right where he was, told him is that this point is like, okay, making sure he gets back is your responsibility. If he doesn't get back, you don't get back. It's like that's an interesting way of solving that dilemma. What do you think, Aisha?
No, that was perfect. That's basically what you do when two people aren't getting along and they need to, because they basically need to depend on each other just to get out of that situation. I know it's hard and I know it's tough and it's easy just to leave.
Sorry, I was just going to say it reminds me of military training.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, let's just say that'll be a very interesting March at this point. Last but not least, I think the only place we haven't really hit on is the Dreadfort, where Theon is having a very comfortable looking stay with handmaidens and wine and meats and whores and all sorts of fun stuff.
Oh, okay.
I think the Iron Maiden might be the only thing in there that.
Oh yeah, well, by wine, what I meant was excruciating torture. Yes, you can see those.
Yes, he was whining. He was whining quite a bit.
So, Matt, DeAno, don't spoil this for me. The slave that was actually working the chamber before the guards left, do you know where that character previously has been?
Aisha's got a thing for faces, and the boy that Yara sent to rescue Theon was in another sci-fi show. Aisha recognized him, and now she wants to know if you know who he is, or if any of you viewers out there knew who that was. If it helps, it's a British show.
From Hulu Plus.
Well, from BBC, but
okay, BBC, yeah.
British show from, I have no idea. What was it? Who is it? I don't think it's a show I watched then.
Oh, okay. He's from Misfits.
Simon.
Oh!
Yeah, that was Simon.
Yes.
Oh, I do watch it then.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I didn't until this year.
Aisha, yeah, it's not even worth watching anymore, but...
Right.
Yeah, but Aisha has a thing for faces. She recognized him right away and actually paused the episode so she could explain out. It's like, yeah, it's him from Misfits. The other turns invisible. I'm like, that's great, Aisha. Play. It's like worse than pop-up video. But we're seeing Theon as like, I mean, who's done some dirt, but it was trying to, kind of get back to going on the straight and narrow, being honorable and whatnot. Is like, I don't know who he pissed off here, but they are mad as hell. It's like everything they were asking him, he told them the truth, and they were still, yeah, we don't care, we're just going to torture you some more.
Do you think it was his own family? Do you think it's, I mean, it could be the iron price.
I don't know. It's like, I mean, wouldn't that be just a little bit over the top extreme?
Not for his family.
I suppose not.
I mean, he's got a pretty fucked up family.
Well, I guess time will tell. It's like, hopefully it's like with Yara's aid and with the help of that boy that she sent, it's like hopefully he won't be in that situation for much longer and be back on his way to Dragonstone. Hopefully. Unless something bad happens, but thankfully this is a show where nothing bad ever happens. It's all, sunshine and rainbows and whatnot. Any wild speculation for next week's episode? Which is titled Walk of Punishment.
Oh, in that case, we're probably going to have a lot of the Night's Watch.
Yeah, that's what I would guess.
I think we might go back to Daenerys too, because we didn't see any Daenerys this time around.
Yeah, and again, it's like I do like the fact that this is a show that chooses who to focus on for each episode instead of trying to cram everybody in there. Drives me crazy. How about you, Aisha? Any wild speculation on your end?
It's hard to say. I'm still focusing on Shay, Sansa, and the Fingerman.
The Fingerman.
Sorry. Littlefinger?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Can I call him the Fingerman from now on?
No.
If David was here, that's exactly what he would do.
No, David would change his lower third to actually say the Fingerman.
Undoubtedly. But yeah,
I have a feeling Sansa's going to go with him.
You think it's going to go with Littlefinger?
Yeah.
All right. But here's the thing: it's like if she chooses to go with Littlefinger, do you see Shay going with her or staying with Tyrion?
Of course, Shay's going to go with her. He's protector.
Yeah, Shay's going to go with her because of the fact that Tyrion can't have her around right now.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Shay's also going to go with her.
But she doesn't listen.
No, I also think that she's going to be forced to go with her because around that time, that's when her cover is going to be blown and she's not going to have any choice.
That's a good point. That's an excellent point.
And this is me.
How long do y'all think?
I don't actually know what's going to happen because I've read it in Wikipedia. I do kind of know what's going to happen, but I'm going to shut up now.
I was like, I'm not even making the slightest attempt. It's like I've made it a particular point to not even read the books yet because I don't want to know everything that's going to happen. It's like I like speculating and things of that nature, and that's a lot of fun. And that is exactly what we are going to do when the round gathers again next week to talk all about episode 303, Walk of Punishment. In the meantime, my name is DeAno Jackson, executive producer, geeksoftheround.com. Go on in there and check us out. Be sure also to hit us up on our community on Google+. Lots of fun things happening there. If you have anything for us, feel free to go ahead and email us at geeksoftheround@gmail.com. If you'd like this video and want to see more of it, please go ahead and like us. Hit the subscribe button so you get these episodes every single week. We will see you next week, guys.